has been actively cutting interest rates since last year. What do you think the further steps of rate cutting path of the ECB compared to the Fed?
So I think the Fed at the moment, with all the uncertainty over Trump policies, including tariffs and immigration, I think they're probably on pause for the moment. But as inflation worries start to ease later in the year, I think they can probably cut rates 1 or 2 times in 2025 towards the end of the year. I think by contrast the ECB will be more tempted to cut rates earlier because of the very apparent weakness in core European economies.
The core position of the fund is financials right now. How do you consider and make a choice between European and US financial bonds?
Okay, when we are choosing financial bonds, what we're really looking for is attractive returns, obviously for a relatively low amount of risk. That's really our prime consideration. When we look at European financial bonds, because of the regulatory environment in Europe, we are able to invest in subordinated debt of European banks and insurance companies that we think has a very low probability of default in the medium term. But those bonds give us yields in euro terms of anywhere between 5 and 7%, which we can then hedge back to US dollars. As we hedge back to US dollars, we pick up another roughly 2% in terms of the interest rate differential. So in US dollar terms, we're looking at yields of anywhere from 7 to 9% in the current environment. At the same time, if we look at US financials, we don't see the same risk-reward trade-off. If we look at the major banks, the spreads are not attractive. If we look at regional banks, we think there's still the possibility for some further problems ahead due to deposit outflow risks.
The emerging market position in the fund is selective. Are there potential countries you could share with us?
One country I'd like to highlight would be our exposure to Romania. So we've bought Romanian government bonds. Let me tell you why. In the current environment, we believe that the ECB is going to continue to cut rates. So you might think that because the peripheral European economies are doing well, you might think that buying a peripheral sovereign bond like Italy would be a good idea. Now, Italy is BBB- rated. That's the lowest possible investment grade rating. And it has a debt to GDP ratio of 135%, which is enormous. So you'd expect some compensation for taking the risk of lending your money to the Italian government. But the yield today on Italian 10-year government debt is just 3.9%. I think we can do better than that. So we look a little bit further east and we look at Romanian sovereign debt. Now, Romania is an emerging market, but Romania is also a member of the European Union, and its sovereign bonds, denominated in euros, so no currency risk, no emerging market currency risk, its sovereign bonds are also BBB- rated. They're investment grade, the same credit rating as Italy. Romania is not a member of the Eurozone. It's on a path to joining the Euro, but that will take several years, maybe 5 to 6 years as a broad estimate. But they issue bonds in euros. Those bonds, investment grade from a European Union nation, yield 6.3% in euro terms. And we don't think in euro terms, we think in US dollars. So we hedge the currency risk of the euro to US dollar. And as a result, we get an extra premium from hedging the risk. It's almost 2%. So actually in US dollar terms today, the yield of our Romanian government bonds is, well, it's over 8%. It's closer to 8.2. So we're getting an 8.2% yield from an investment grade European Union member sovereign. We think that is a very attractive investment proposition.
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书，投资人须知。